about this. This is one of our fraternity's initiatives for bigger and better business to make sure that people understand branding, small business, and how to get those things started. So we're very excited about this event today. We're waiting for more people to get on, but we're going to get it started. For starters, I want to introduce our panelists. We have Ms. Pamela Reed, Minority Business Development Specialist with Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center. Ms. Pamela Reed. And then we have Ceresia Nelson, Community Affairs Officer with Simmons Bank and Independent Marketing Consultant, Ms. Ceresia Nelson. And then we have Mr. Derek Rainey, Small Business Development at the City of Little Rock. So we want to welcome our speakers and we want to open up and let them get us developed into small business, into the world of small business. We're excited about it. And I'll turn it over to our host.
Joshua, that's you. You got it.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day. I know a lot of us have busy Saturdays, but we definitely want to be grateful on that right there. Also, we're grateful for our chapter president, Mr. Diggins, for just taking time out of his busy day. And then also we want to thank Ms. Reed. We also want to thank Ms. Nelson and also Mr. Rainey for taking time out of their days, because when you're busy people, it's kind of hard to, break away. But thank you so much for, volunteering your time to help us with this community effort here. And on today, just have a few questions we're going to talk about here on today. One of the questions I want to ask here is, and you all can chime in at any time here, is what are the biggest mistakes that are made by startup entrepreneurs?
Joshua, this is Pam Reed. Do you mind just one more time? What is the biggest mistake that what?
What is the biggest mistakes that are made up by startup entrepreneurs?
I want to thank the Mu Beta Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma for having me here today, first of all. Second of all, I want to say that I've been in some type of business, corporate business, small business for most of my career, primarily working with small business owners for the past 5 years and as it relates to education. And so coming from that perspective, I feel like education and understanding how systems work is probably the biggest mistake that a lot of small business owners make. As African-American small business owners are getting started, sometimes we don't always have access to capital. And yes. So we're bootstrapping. We're going to our savings, to our 401k, and to other areas for finances, but we don't take the time to understand, or plan out, okay, I'm going to start here, but in 3 years, I may need to look at getting a bank loan so that I can scale. So how do I get that paperwork in order? How do I understand that banking and bookkeeping system so that when that time comes around, that I can apply for a loan and maybe scale my business? The other part I would say is for a lot of business owners, and this happens after business owners have been bootstrapping and working without capital, access to capital for a while, is we get caught up in that, I don't want to show any profit on my tax statement, so I'm going to have a whole bunch of expenses so I don't have to pay anything at the end of the year, which has short-term benefits, but you lose the long-term benefit when you don't show that you made anything as a small business owner. And the long-term benefit is that if you don't have money on the books that you've made, you end up not being able to access that capital. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. There are a lot of things that I would say I've seen small business owners make mistakes on, but just understanding the different types of systems that affect small business is one of the biggest ones I see that Black small business owners make.
Okay. Thank you so much there, Ms. Reed. We definitely appreciate that feedback.
That's good. That's really good. I told you, Pamela, I was going to let you handle this because she's like, she got it. Like, that was a sermon all into itself. So I'm going to try to come from a different perspective. Again, I'm Ceresia Nelson. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join you all today. The men of Phi Beta Sigma Incorporated. I love it. And thank all of you who are with us this morning or this afternoon on a Saturday. That in itself demonstrates the fact that you are serious about what you're endeavoring to do. If you're doing it already, or if you're thinking about it, I'm going to tell you, I believe, just like Ms. Reed talked about the understanding, I have like these 5 steps to financial empowerment. And it really is personal and financial empowerment as well as your business. Understanding is so key. I want you to understand why you even want to do it in the first place. Like, you need to have a real understanding. Are you trying to be rich overnight? Because it probably ain't gonna happen.
Yes.
What is it? Are you just trying to floss and flex for the gram, Facebook, for your friends? Is that your motivation? Or are you really in this because you have a passion for what you're doing? Or is it a little bit of all of that? So you really need to get an understanding of why you do it, because you're going to face issues, and you're going to face challenges, and you're going to face sacrifices and long nights and long days, and all of that. Understanding why and your motivation is key. I'm always going to come, because I'm a burgeoning motivational. That's what I do. In addition to all the other stuff that I do, is understanding why you want to do it in the first place. And that goes along with, and I know Ms. Reed is going to talk on, and I know Derek is going to talk on business plans, but even before you sit down at the table to begin your business plan, I want you to have a real strong understanding of why you're in this, so that you can communicate that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm hushed so we can get into that, because that is going to go into your branding and your marketing. You got to have an understanding and your ability to sell yourself why you want to do it. Because I will tell you that your passion breeds your energy, and your energy breeds contagion, and your contagion spreads. And that will help you to begin to sell and package and create profit from whatever it is you want to do.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Nels. Thank you. Mr. Rainey?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I knew that the train was going farther down the tracks once Pam and Sarisa started talking. I already knew. So I said, you know what? Let me just hold back, because I know they're going to take y'all far. And I'm just
Smart man.
I'm just going to bring it to the station. That's all I'm going to do. So Pam just talked about, like, you know, you're not understanding like the backside of some of the business things. And then Sarisa talked about the heart part of it, right? Are you in this for real? And honestly, the biggest mistakes I've seen in business, personally, as well as from our potential business owners and existing business owners, is a double-sided coin. One is you get out there and you just start it not knowing what to do.
Yes.
You don't educate yourself. You don't find a mentor. I literally just got off a call for Delta Presents alumni for business forum. It was a business forum for young people. And the other side of that coin is not going out and starting a business. So some people do something and then they fail first, or they don't make the money first, so they're not rich overnight. So then they just let it go. But I guarantee you, Warren Buffett ain't said, I messed up one time, or I didn't know what I was doing on one business. I guarantee you he didn't say, I only have one iron in the fire. I was told the best thing when I was just growing into my adulthood, and he said, a person should have 7 streams of income. Now, whether that's passive, active, residual, and you should have some that you are very passionate about and some that you put in all of your time and effort to. And there's others that you should be making money while you are asleep, meaning that you have investments, meaning that you have savings. So Pamela talked about not going into your 401k to fund your business, because that's your retirement. But if you have to do it, know that you can put it back. So you got to go in and do the extra work to make up for that time lost, because the time lost of investment is dire. It was just this one conversation we just had about if you invested $300 into your business, or if you were doing it into student loans. Well, the same person over 10 years, the person just doing it into student loans or just doing it into debt will only get back to zero in 10 years, but pay extra, pay more. But then if you invest, or if you're doing something that is producing with interest, then you'll be further along. So that's what I would say is the double-sided coin of what's the mistake. Not starting it and then getting out there and starting it without knowing what you're doing. I do have a young daughter. She just came in, heard me getting hyped. I am an alpha on a Sigma call, but y'all, I made good decisions. I married a Zeta from Beta in Pine Bluff, Lottie Hot Shot Rady. But Octavia just heard me, so let me get off this piano.
All right, thank you so much there, Mr. Rainey. Well, I tell you, hey, y'all got me want to start up something myself right now. All this good information that you guys are giving out.
Get to it.
Yes, this is definitely getting good right here, and I'm hoping that everybody that so far is listening, you got your pen and your paper down and you're listening. I mean, because I tell you, Ms. Reed, Ms. Nelson, and Mr. Rainey, they've definitely been giving some great information so far. So on the second question here to ask you all is, how could I get great ideas protected? Because you have a lot of people out there that have their ideas, and the problem, they see is that, okay, well, I had this idea, now somebody else has it. To start off with something like that, how could I go about getting my idea protected?
I'm gonna listen to this one.
I kind of want to listen too, because I personally feel like the USPTO is kind of the best way to, we want to start getting into copyrights, trademarks, and patents when we start talking about protecting ideas. And I think that it's kind of, it's a slippery slope to say nobody can do what I do, because the first thing when you do it, somebody's automatically going to do it. And you already need to be preparing for the competition to come in and how you differentiate yourself from everyone else. And so I would say check with the USPTO office and start getting some information about whether you need a copyright or a patent or a trademark. And then we also have Arkansas, trademark and things like that, and then see about covering it locally and then also covering it nationally. And I think the thing that you need to know about that is that working with those particular organizations, your coverage is only good for America. So that doesn't have anything to do with Britain or Africa or anywhere else, because
Yes.
somebody can come along and make a product that's just like yours or similar to yours in other countries. And so that would be my feedback. Work with a good patent lawyer. You can go out and try to do the research, get the information on your own, just so you already, you come armed enough with the right questions to ask when you're working with a lawyer. And so get a good patent lawyer and work with someone and can kind of go through that process.
And I know Sarisi, you're gonna talk about it, but it's the market.
Because I've had to do that.
I need it, because you can't create something that somebody else can go and replicate if it's not good enough. If you didn't do the research first to get it to where it is the thing that really matters, like McDonald's. Ain't nobody finna go make no M. We saw it in Coming to America. McDowell's and McDougal's.
McDowell's, yeah.
Does not happen. They come and sue you, McDowell's, because of what they created. So I think it's putting in that time and effort, like Pamela even said, to go and do the research. Like before you even start, do a focus group. Get friends and family. Hey, this is my idea. Y'all can't tell nobody. Get them to sign some NDAs and some non-disclosures, all of that. So then that way, if it come out, you know who to go to. But get some feedback. Does this logo resonate with you? Y'all got a great logo on your background. I know one person didn't just decide that was going to be y'all logo, right? You had to have some feedback with that. So before you even go to the USPTO, you got to know that this resonates with people and that it is what I want to do. It is what I own. It's what I want to say is my brand. So I'm gonna turn over to Sarisi, because I know.
No, I don't have anything else to add to that, man. Because as a creator, I'm a writer, and I made a so I use Facebook only to deposit my inspirational ideas. And I also use it to capture them for this book I'm going to write and haven't written it yet. So I put it there to store it, but it's in the public domain. And so I wrote a post, y'all, that has been shared like 86,000 times.
Oh, wow.
It's actually bananas, but I have also seen it like other people have appropriated it and put it on. So now, like to Pamela's point, I've got to figure out how to protect my writings. And so that is very important. I am talking to a trademark attorney. So y'all, we got to get serious about this because people will steal your things. And it's more than flattery. So you definitely have to protect your products and your services. So I'm still a student in that arena. And so hopefully maybe next time when we come back together, we can have a whole session about how to protect your stuff, but because it's really important. That's that's what God gave me. And so to have it, and so when I've seen it, like it really took me aback. It's like, you didn't even attribute it to me. And y'all don't do that on Facebook. We do that all the time. Don't take other people's words. And for someone like me who creates words or words are given to me, don't do that. Attribute that to the source of the individual. Don't steal people's memes. If you know where it came from, give them credit for that. Don't do that, because I promise when it happens to you as a small business person, as a business owner, it doesn't feel that great. So don't do that, okay?
All right. Thank you. One quick question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pam had something.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that a couple of things. While you were talking, Cericia and Derek, one thing is I do think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough value for what we create. And so we don't see the need to go and do a trademark or a copyright or anything like that. But what you create does have intellectual value, and it does need to be protected. So keep that in mind. And the other thing I wanted to say is that the ASBTDC, we do market research, and this goes back to what Derek was saying about the focus groups and all of that. If you are working on a business plan or you're not sure about your business idea and you put some ideas on paper, you can work with one of our consultants to acquire some of that secondary research. And that secondary research can kind of help you make some decisions about your business as well.
Pamela, okay, so y'all, I'm a host also among many. Pamela, tell them what those letters are that you spat up. What does that stand for? Tell the people.
The Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center. And the acronym is just as long as the name, and we all mess it up from time to time.
It's a great resource. If you want to start a business, I highly suggest you start there. They are a wealth of resources. They are there for you, y'all. You've got to go check them out. So that's my own commercial for you guys. They're all over the state. And where are you, Pam?
I'm here in Little Rock on the campus of UALR, and our services are not going to cost you anything out of pocket if you're working with one of our consultants. And right now we do have vendors and different specialists on our staff that are doing marketing work, building websites. And we've got a lot of things going right now for individuals starting a business because of the CARES Act.
Yeah. And I'll shut up so you can ask another question, Brother Bronson, but as a bank, putting on my bank hat, for us to know that you've worked with the folks over at, I'll never get it right either, but Pam's group, it's impressive to us. It means something to us. So so please make sure you check out their services. It lets us know that you're serious before you come and looking for financing, because we know that you've gotten some of your stuff together.
Yes. Okay. One quick question is, now everybody's not going to be very familiar with the different terms. I know you said the NDA, and then also you say PTO. People are going to be thinking PTO is something that you get from your job. So whenever you make your abbreviation, could you make sure that you all explain what they are? And then also in reference to the small business that they have here in Little Rock, my wife actually went through that program off of 12th Street over there in the building over there. Great resource right there for people to jump into. And then also I want to let people know that, hey, while we have these experts on here, please submit your questions on the chat here, and we're going to make sure that those all will be addressed at the end of the forum that we're having here. And so with the next question here, I mean, this is great information you all are giving here is a business plan necessary? And I know you made that look right there, Ms. Nelson. But the question has to be asked because you have so many people out there wanting to start businesses, and they're just, they're going off impulse. And they're just like, oh, I want to get into a t-shirt business. Bam, let me run and get into this right here. But they're not taking the time. So because with, you three here can definitely break that down to them to open up people's eyes, because I think business, they're thinking quick spare of the moment, what they say, get rich quick schemes.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say yes. The answer is yes, but Six, you want to take that?
I actually want to say no. It's not
You
necessary.
want to say no?
I'm gonna say no, and here's why.
Okay.
Because if you want to just start a t-shirt business and only sell it to your friends and family and never report it on your taxes and never get any business finances and never grow and never scale and never be in anybody's stores, you don't need a business plan.
Okay, that's fair.
Because you're not trying to be bankable.
That's good. Okay.
It's different. In order to be bankable, you have to have a bankable business plan. That's why I'm gonna pass it over to Pam, because that's what they also do, as well as we do.
Yeah.
So I really love the way that you put that, Derek.
That's true, right?
Because we have a lot of programs that are using the business model canvas to get people started and to help them start generating ideas. And the business model canvas is a great tool for helping you solve problems, generate ideas, and kind of write down some quick notes about what you're doing. If you want to seek bank financing, or you're trying to seek funding from other stakeholders, maybe friends and families or investors, things like that, my recommendation is a business plan, because a business plan is going to force you to write down a roadmap where everybody can see where the profit potential is. And do you have a business idea that makes sense? And it also gives you something that you can come back to later and see where you have some opportunities, where you can make changes. Did I do what I said I was going to do? How do I kind of keep this idea going? So, it's kind of like that idea of once you put it on paper, you're more likely to do it. Once you put it in a business plan, you're more likely to have done some research if you're using a really, really good business plan model. You're more likely to have done some research. And so when you start getting into all of that and answering all of these questions, it makes it easier to go to anybody that you're seeking funds from and give them a clear picture of what you're trying to do. So you can use a business model canvas to get you started. This is my recommendation. But if you're going for the long haul, you've got your 1-year plan. This is what I'm going to do. You've got your 3-year plan, you've got your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan. Then you need a business plan to kind of go throughout that entire story so that you can make progress over time. That's just my perspective.
That's very good. I mean, you said both of y'all said it all. That's the truth. It gives you some baseline. You're able to measure your success or not. You're able to tweak, and a business plan is fluid. That's all I'll say too, that it's fluid. It's not just a static piece of paper. It's definitely fluid, and it can change and grow and evolve, because you might get in it and determine that you want to go a slightly different direction from when you first originated your idea or your concept, and that's totally okay. But your business plan should grow and tweak and evolve as your business does. So yeah, like Derek said, if you ain't serious about it, or it's just something that you do, don't bother. But if you're definitely trying to get investment and you're going to come to a bank, please don't go to the bank without one, because they're going to turn you around for sure.
Your feelings would definitely be hurt. Okay, one other question I would like to ask you all is, will I need a lawyer to start a business?
No, you don't have to have a lawyer. It's just smart practices. I mean, let's just think about it. Are you a financial advisor and a CPA? You might not need to be doing your own accounting. Do you need a CPA to have a business? You don't have to have one. QuickBooks, Wave Accounting, they can do it for you. But there are things that professionals know that if you're not in that field, it's just best to trust the experts, or at least to have somebody on retainer. Right. That's just the general recommendation. I mean,
right. And please, before you enter into any kind of contracts, I mean, We done all heard a story about the rappers. The rappers not the only ones to sign these contracts or in the music industry. Don't get into these contracts, or even if it's a lease, it's good to have an attorney on standby to read over these things. Cause so that at some point, if you want to scale your business and want to move out of that spot and they're like, oh, no, you signed this. So yes, it's good to have someone on hand, but don't let that deter you from getting started. I don't, just if you're entering into legalities, yes, you should have someone with a legal mind, legalese to read over your stuff. So you're not in a bind.
Teresa, I'm gonna tell you a perfect example that happened today. So we ain't talking about yesterday. We're not even talking about 3 weeks ago. This morning, before this call, I got a text to say, hey, somebody is in a lease right now. They owe $10,000 in back rent. What can they do? Well, the person who owns the lease is not even in the state, doesn't even live in the state. They had somebody else running the business, but the person on the lease is on the hook for the $10,000 of back rent. So that's one case right there where you need to at least have some type of legal. I subleased it to you. You owe me that rent. You not leaving. We're gonna make this up. But the lawyer will need to be the one to do that. So this is a perfect example. You can get in sticky situations. I mean, even to the point where Sarisa was talking about somebody infringing upon her likeness and her words. A publisher would say, Sarisa Nelson is the author and owner of this because they submitted it. She submitted it to me, and I am the authoritarian over her work.
Because let me tell you, cease and desist letters are real. Cease and
The
desist.
publisher can come for them, the lawyer, and the CPA. Come get that money.
The only thing that I would add to that is that I think you also have to think about like human resources. If you ever plan on having employees, and if you're in an industry that is, contract heavy, if there are a lot of illegalities, things like that, all of that paperwork, leases, employee handbooks, trying to onboard and hire people, you want to have somebody with a legal background to look over those documents for you, because there are some things you can and cannot say to people. You can't ask, like, for example, you can't ask somebody during the interview, well, are you pregnant? Well, what's your religious preference? Because all of those could be, qualifiers that they could say you use to not employ them or use against them in some manner. And so you want to definitely have a lawyer to look over it. And there's a business innovations clinic at the UALR Bowen School of Law. And a lot of times they will take on free clients. And depending on what they're having the students to do that semester, you can probably have them to look over things like your paperwork, your employee handbook, and things of that nature that can kind of help you at no cost.
To that same point, Pamela, if everybody on this call, you got a little homework, go look up and Google search Title VI and Title VII. Exactly what Pam was just talking about, which is discrimination for employment and inclusion based on race, creed, color, gender, everything else, and people get sued just for that.
Wow, you're right. So quick question. I'm going to pull a question out of the comment section right here. Mr. Kenneth Bird, he said, as a commercial Little Rock, where can I point up start business owners to get access to startup capital?
Where can you get access to startup capital?
Yes, like say for instance in the Little Rock area, what would be a good point to get startup capital?
Pamela, I see you revving up.
I love Remix ideas for a lot of smaller companies. Remix they have been working for the past couple of years to come up with a fund that can be utilized by African-American small businesses that will allow those businesses to acquire grants for their small business idea. You may or may not have to go through their program to acquire these funds, but that's one resource. There is also a grant program that I get the name mixed up. I may be able to find it before we get off the call, but I want to call it the Right Avenue Grant Program. But I think they're doing $25,000 grants for minority small businesses and for minority small businesses that are underserved and under-resourced. Some other examples for me are going to be community development organizations like the CDFIs, like Hope Credit Union, Forge. We used to have a large fund at Communities Unlimited, and Communities Unlimited, just to give you an example, there are a lot of things going on with trying to get money in the hands of minorities right now. And some people are doing it because they need to check a box. Okay, let's just be honest about it. Okay, but there are groups that are really, really serious about it. And some of them I've tried to mention just now. Hope Credit Union, Remix Ideas, you know, the Right Avenue Fund. If I can find the link, I'll post it in the chat here shortly. But just to give you an example, Communities Unlimited is working with a group called Delta Navigators in the Delta area of Arkansas. And through that program, participants, like 150 participants have come in, and Communities Unlimited is specifically working with these individuals. Now, when they finish their 12-week program, or however long the program is, it may be a little bit longer, they get a $1,000 grant. When they come into the program, they're getting a certain amount of money. And so they're trying to make sure not only that they get the money in the hands of the people that need it, but provide them with the education on and know what they're going, and help them to determine what they're going to do with it. So I guess I'm saying all of that to say there are funding sources popping up all over the place right now. And so, you know, I've tried to create a network where people know about them. And so I think you're already on my emails, and I've sent Jerome a couple of emails so that he kind of knows about some of the things that's going on. So I hope that gives you some ideas. Cericia or Derek may know some more as well.
I mean, it's already, you mentioned pretty much a lot of them. And Sarisa was putting it in the chat as well, and I had put the website for Remix Ideas. We're all in this together. This is what the city of Little Rock is doing. If you didn't hear about it, the sales tax, the penny sales tax, is literally trying to put millions of dollars into business development for small business owners, and to be able to give out, I think it's putting $5 million towards business development entrepreneurship through the Build Academy and through other efforts. And that's working with Hope Credit Union, working with Southern Bancorp as partners. First Security has some financial tools as well. Forge, like Pam said, is really great to help. And a lot of these don't cost anything. It's just the time and effort and being prepared. So Pam, you all have a small business incubator prep program, as well as the city of Little Rock has now launched the Build Academy. Applications are open until May 31st.
Y'all, please sign up. Yeah, sign up for the Build Academy. If you don't know what it is, you need to check it out. The Build Academy.
I put the link in the chat and look it up. It's definitely, I would love to see people who are on this call, because I know that you're wanting to be successful. And we are partnering with Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center, as well as funneling into other incubators once you finish the Build Academy. So it's the opportunity to be prepared is really the difference between success and failure. If you are not prepared, you cannot guarantee success. And failure does not mean you don't have challenges. It means that you have hit a roadblock you cannot get over. And sometimes you can get into tax trouble without knowing what to do. You can get into, I mean, some people going to jail for, like you said, infringing on somebody else's product. That's just what it can go down to. So we want to make sure that people are ready and people are prepared with the best information as possible.
I think about my good friend Tristan Wilkerson. If you're not familiar with Tristan,
yesterday.
High Street Equity Partners. They're venture capitalists. They're looking for they're new, semi-new to the game, but they're looking for 10 companies to invest in within their first year of operation to assist in capital. So check them out, High Street Equity Partners, or just Google Tristan Wilkerson. There was a great article on him and his partner in the Griot recently. And then also the Arkansas Women's Business Center that's a part of Windrock International. They have Chauncey Pettis is over that program, the Arkansas Women's Business Center. And they do have some sort of, because they come to Simmons to invest in it, where women can get into a program and they assist them and they lead them through that program and give them some, at the end of it, they do get a small seed for funding. So there's a number of resources. Just get out there and talk to folks like Pamela and Derek, and even myself at the bank. We tend to know who's doing what in these spaces if you're looking for capital.
Okay, great. Question asked here is, what do you all think in reference to the PPO loans? I'm sorry, the PPP loans. Let me.
The PPP, which it stands for, I saw someone said, what did it say? It said prepare for prison program.
Yes.
Which is PPP stands for the Paycheck Protection Program. I know at Simmons Bank, our program has just ended. The funds have exhausted, so we're not in that space anymore. But what I think about it, I think that it was a great concept. It probably wasn't thought all the way through, and so it allowed a lot of loopholes and a lot of people to apply for that program. But don't take that money, y'all, if y'all don't need it. If there's some out there who are looking for those loans, make sure y'all really need it, because it's you don't want to, you may look good in orange, but you don't want to wear it every day. But it was a great, I thought that it was a good concept by the government to keep small business owners afloat. I was at an ear, nose, and throat doctor on yesterday, and he told me that his clinic took $900 something thousand of the PPP program, and it just that was what they normally would have made. He said came in just slightly under, but it was able to keep them afloat. So there were businesses that really needed it, but if there's folks out there who don't need it, you're seeing a lot, and you're going to see a lot about people who are going to be going, they're going to go after you for the PPP program if you're not serious and didn't need it. But if you're out there and you do still need it, the Hope Credit Unions and some of the other smaller banks are still taking applications, so go for it. But you got to have your paperwork together. Don't be out there falsifying forms and nothing like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yes, if you need it, it's cool. I know I'm on the board of a school who got it, and their grant will be forgiven. That's a great aspect of the PPP program, to have those grants forgiven. But again, don't take it if you don't need it.
And here's a piece about preparation as well as the reality. When the last wave of funding came through for COVID, the city of Little Rock was trying to give away $5,000 to small businesses. Giving it away, like forgivable loans, giving it away. We made the bar as low as we could make it. You had to be registered with the state. You had to have your business license. You had to have 2 years of business taxes. Out of 250 applications in the first wave, 200 of them were ineligible. Meaning that no business taxes for 2 years, couldn't tell if you was living out of the business or not, and wasn't registered with state, wasn't registered with the city of Little Rock as a business owner. And then you didn't, we talk about HR. If you have an employee, that means that they have a W what? 2. If you turning in 1099s, they not yours. They are contracted, they are contractors within your organization.
Right.
Meaning you cannot count them for PPP loans because you're not paying them a paycheck. They not yours. You're not paying payroll taxes.
Right.
So that was another thing we ran into. So we just realized that's what the Build Academy actually came out of. We realized we need to make sure people are ready for the inevitable. Something's going to happen. like you said, PPP could mean preparation for prison, or it could mean payroll protection.
So,
Your
so
choice.
like,
Payroll protection.
right, like you said, Derek, I do think that that's why I mentioned what I did originally about the systems, because we had something like 45% of African American applicants that applied for either the EIDL or the PPP, and they were denied. So 50%. So that whole question or that whole statement of, oh, I can't get access to capital. Well, you did, but you weren't prepared. And so when we start thinking about the systems that we don't understand, or how we figure out how to, I'm sorry. So I just think that, if we had a better understanding of the systems when we apply for those loans, we could have presented a better story. And so many of them that were meant for us, we couldn't even acquire. And so I just want to, I'm hosting an event right now called, Banking in Color, and understanding what it means to be banking as a Black person, and dealing with all the isms that come along with that. And so I think that, we have an inherent distrust of a lot of institutions and systems. And so we're always taking the low road. I won't even call it the low road, but what we think is the smarter road to go around who they are and what they're doing. And in some cases that works against us as business owners. And so I think we have to figure out ways to build better relationships, and then better understand the system so that we can be eligible.
That's really good. Invite me to that. I want to come to that. Definitely. That is so key. Y'all, even before you're ready, before you think you're ready to go to get a loan from a bank, like Pamela said, go talk to some bankers, establish relationships. You may think it's premature, but it's really not. Go talk to them, sit down and say, in a year or 2 or 3, I'm going to be coming back and asking for a loan. Talk to me. What do I need to be doing now? Have those conversations. It's okay. Don't be afraid. But that goes into, like she's talked about, our inherent distrust, underutilization of financial services institutions. It's okay to go set up an appointment, and you might not have what you need today, or you don't have the funds that you want to deposit today, but go and set up and talk to them about what you're trying to do. And I promise you that will help when you get positioned to do exactly what you need to do, because they'll remember you. They will have walked you through and shepherded you through, and they have an investment in you. And don't forget them. Make sure when you do that, make sure you go back and establish your bank relationships with them. It goes along. Relationships really do go along. Like, trust me in this. I sit around tables where they are reviewing the loans, and trust me on this. The relationship means a lot.
I agree, Teresa. I mean, I'm personal example. We have a family catering entertainment company. And you know what? It was like, hey, we're gonna do this thing, and it could just be a hobby, or we can do it for real. So we decided to do it for real. Got established, and really just started going in and talking to banks, just meeting people. We even showed a few banks, hey, this is our business plan, and said, hey, you might want to make these couple of changes, or you might want to have this much capital in the bank, or we would love to be your financial institution where you have your accounts with us. And some even required, and I'm gonna say this, Teresa, some even require that you exclusively have all of your accounts in their financial institution. I'm not gonna name any, but Teresa knows what I'm talking about.
Baby, I know. I see the long write-ups, y'all. They say in there. They put in there how many accounts you have.
Exclusively, you may not get that funding, because if you got another credit account, or you got a savings account in another institution, they say, well, you don't need us.
Yeah, so please understand and develop those relationships on the front end with folks. It's okay. They need you as much as you need them.
And so we're almost out of time, but I do want to ask one last topic question before we move on to the Q&As. Regarding marketing strategies, what resources are available locally and online What platforms should we be targeting? You know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. What's best?
Woo, I'm gonna let you start on that, Pamela, because I'm gonna show come and clean that up.
Yeah, please do. Okay, so I always recommend that people come and talk to the ASBTDC, get some market research, know who their target customer is, know some of their psychographics, and know how to communicate with them. Because even though social media marketing is free, it may not be where your customers are located. They still might be send something in direct mail. They still may be people who trust what's on the television versus what's on social media. And so you need to kind of know some of those things about them when you're building your marketing strategy. The other thing that I want to say, because I'm not going to take the whole question, is you want to get in contact with a newsletter such as one like Riva Lazinski presents. She is a nationally known a marketer that works with the SBDC. And so she's doing research all the time to see kind of what the trends are, what people are leaning towards and what they're trying to walk away from. So like during COVID-19, she was one of the first to say, hey, we're seeing an increase in the number of people that are having groceries delivered. We're seeing an increase in the number of people that are selling products and services online. So like if you're starting a business, you don't want to think, oh, well, I'm just going to go get a brick and mortar when all of your customers are buying the products and services online. So little bitty things, as the impact of COVID-19 will affect how you think about your marketing strategy and how you build it going forward. So that's just some of the background. In terms of tools, I'll let Sarisi and Derek kind of talk a little bit more about that piece of it.
Well, I'm not even gonna touch it in enough to where I'm gonna approach it from a different standpoint, because I think we forget this part, that marketing is about word of mouth as well. If you don't have any personal people buying your stuff or servicing your company, then people outside not gonna believe it. So your brand could be amazing, your logo could be fire, your commercials can be great, but if ain't nobody, and I say it this way, I went to a restaurant and somebody said, hey, go here. It was one car in the parking lot and I couldn't even tell if it was open. Not gonna name the institution, but the marketing was great. People know it. But if I can't tell if you open, if I don't know that you're there personally, you could have the fire commercial. I'm not going. And that's why I'll leave it at. That you got to have all the aspects of advertisement marketing, and that includes relationships with personal word of mouth. So that's the part
everything they both said is so true. Go see the team at the Arkansas Small Business Development Technology Center. Again, they can help you with that market research. Like Pam said, knowing who your customers are, knowing who your competitors are. And don't just know who they are from a peripheral standpoint. Know them, okay? Know what they offer. Know them as much research as you can do on your competitors is so important. I get hot talking about this. This make me hot because it is so easy. The first thing that we want to do when we get an idea, you see them on Facebook. Who create logos? That should not be your first step. You got to get the sausage making right first. You got to have a product. You have to have a service before you begin to think about going to put it in the marketplace. It's the easiest thing to do. It's where people tend to start first. Let me also tell you this, that your personal brand, we talk about brand. Do you even know what a brand is? A brand is a promise. Every single day, you are your brand, okay? Everything about your business, from the way people walk into the door, the way they greet you, what it smells like, what it looks like, everything about that is a part of your brand. You as the business owner, when you walk into the bank, you are the brand. You are always the brand. How you show up in the place, how you show up in the world, how you show up on social media, you are the brand. I can't tell you the number of times people want to do business with you. They're going to go look at your social media. You, the person, you're the brand. Everywhere you go, you brand yourself. When you walk into a room, you're already branded. People know how you're going to show up. They know if you're going to be on time. You ever hear people, she ain't going to be on time. That's a part of your brand. You're not on time. You're not timely. How you show up. I'm always, from what I drive, and when I was a young person, I was very intentional about it. I thought about it. What it looked like on the inside of my car is always clean. My car is always clean. That's a part of my personal brand because I want you to feel like you can trust me, right? There are all these things that go into your marketing strategy. Yes, Facebook is there. Are you utilizing Facebook in the proper way? Twitter, Instagram. Y'all, I could do a whole class and a session, but if you want to get real about it, hire somebody. You're not a marketer. You don't do public relations. That's not what you sell t-shirts. Hire someone, just like we're talking about a lawyer, hire somebody else who's good at that. Someone to do your taxes. If that's not your strong suit, hire somebody to do your branding and your marketing and your public relations. Woo, okay, I'm gonna shut up in a second, but let me just say this, because people think that just because we do it in church, that there's a PR committee, that everybody can do it. Everybody can't do it because there's a science to communicating to people and to segments of audiences. Just like Pam talked about, you have to segment the audience. You don't talk to 12 to 18-year-olds the same way you talk to 35 to 50-year-olds. That's a part of your marketing. And do you even know who you're talking to? So there's a whole lot that goes into that. Yes, you can get out there and create your Facebook page. That's fine, but know what you're doing, know what you're talking about, and know what you're communicating. And it's best to work with someone who does that, like myself. Because in times of crisis, you do got to have crisis communications people who can talk to you folks. You do have to understand mail outs and social media, buying the ads on Facebook. You do have to understand radio and TV, all of those things. There's a lot that goes along with it. So don't just think that it's the easiest part because it's the sexiest part. Picking out your colors is cute and fun, but there really is a science to it. So let me stop because it really does makes me warm.
You know, Sarisa, you made a lot of good points. And the only thing I'm going to add to what you're saying, it's something that you kind of mentioned earlier in the call when you were talking about understanding the why, why you're doing what you're doing and the passion and all of that. Because what tends to happen, that is, if you are the brand, if you're the only person in your business and you don't have like a handbook and all this other stuff going on, you are the brand, but the values that you have and you communicate attract the values of other people, and they want to do business with you because like attracts like in a lot of cases. So when you're thinking about that why and your brand and you're, getting a marketer and all those people involved so that you can present yourself in a professional way that she suggested, make sure that marketer, that you know enough about who you are, that marketer can help you communicate that out effectively. It's because you're going to attract people that are most likely having the same values as you.
That's exactly right. Ooh, yes. So
I think the only thing I would add to it is be consistent, even with your marketing. Have the same name the same way. And even with your marketing out to the public, it needs to also reflect how you register the business entity as well in a lot of ways, because you can say, unless you're doing a DBA with an abbreviation or a nickname, you trying to say my name is Fresh Cookies, and online you saying we all that cookies or whatever. Like, it has to be consistent and well thought out. A great marketing plan is probably one of your best friends.
It is. And this is the last thing I say, and we're gonna go on, brothers, I know, but just because you do a photo shoot and release your photos, that's not it. And we know we real good about a photo shoot these days. Good photos are good, but we don't
even attribute the photographer. Don't even know who took the pictures.
much, y'all. So much.
This is all great information. I do have one question that was in a chat from an audience member. What is the name of a company or person that invests in businesses that work with high street equity partners?
What's the question again?
What is the name of a person or company that invests in businesses that work with high street equity partners?
I'm not sure if I understand the question, but high street.
Are they asking about Tristan Wilkerson? Is that were you asking? Who was the person was referenced?
Boogie, if you want to go ahead and chime in and actually speak for your question, that way we can get it communicated clearly.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I know you guys referenced it earlier. You said it was a person or individual that worked with them, and I didn't get a chance to write down the name of that institution or that person that's paired with them.
I do believe
that was you, Cericia. If you could talk about the High Street Equity Partners, and you were mentioning Tristan Wilkerson.
Yeah, and Tristan Wilkerson is his entity, Mr. Boogie Box. Tristan Wilkerson. So just Google him. Hey y'all, the Google is your friend.
Yes.
High Street Equity Partners. You put it in, it'll come up. So yeah, Tristan Wilkerson. But y'all use Google. I promise you, it's a great start.
And are there any other questions from the audience? Because this time I'm having it in the chat. No, excellent. I'd like to ask each of you 30 seconds or less closing remarks, because we are now past 1 p.m. Or excuse me, 2.
Wow. People, you know, as Cericia mentioned, the Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center is a great resource. And because we're funded by the SBA and UALR, most of our services are going to be they're going to be free for you as a small business owner. And we can help develop everything from the business plan to loan packages to anything that you need to help to make your business a success. So I would develop a relationship with someone at the ASBTDC, me, I would be that person. And I can get you connected to some other kind of counselors that can help you walk you through your small business process.
And similar, thank you all for this opportunity and representing the City of Little Rock Small Business Development Office. I'll put my information in the chat as well. For the Build Academy, it's a 12-week program that will start in the fall. There'll be 2 cohorts, roughly 15 businesses per cohort. And it is a funnel into ASBTDC as well as the Innovation Hub and Think Remix Ideas. We are a collaborative partner within our communities to make sure that business owners are successful and that we just really want you all to help not just stimulate the economy, but really start building generational wealth. That is literally what the mandate from Mayor Frank Scott Jr. is on the Build Academy, is to help build generational wealth, specifically south of 630, but within the city of Little Rock at large. Please go out and talk to your ward representatives to vote for the sales tax, because that directly impacts you in this opportunity that we have.
Again, echoing my counterparts, thank you for the opportunity to spend an hour with you this afternoon. I just want to encourage you. I want to tell you that that whatever you want to do, whatever the dream that God has placed inside of you, don't sit on it. Time is of the essence. I want you to believe in yourselves. A lot of times we look for external validation for our ideas, but the idea is yours. You're giving birth to it. It was planted inside of you. I want you to do whatever you can do to nurture your idea. It is your baby. Whether you're reading books, you spend time in Barnes and Noble, you go to the business section, you spend time on the internet, you spend time talking to people, you network with people, you get an understanding, you sit on these Zooms, invest in your seed that's inside of you. You have what it takes to create generational wealth. You have what it takes to make yourself happy. You have what it takes. I want you to understand that you are the butterfly, the caterpillar, and then you're going to become the butterfly. You're going to fly. You don't have to be like everybody else. You don't have to walk to the drum, march to the beat of everybody else's drum beat. You have something special. You have something unique. Get to it. Now's the time. You got these resources. Never walk away from one of these panels or from someone without having learned something or without a contact, and follow up on these contacts. These people are out here. We put our information. We'll know who's serious by who contacts us after today, but you can do it. I want to inspire and encourage you, motivate you. Keep going.
Thank you very much. This has been a pleasure. We truly appreciate all three of you attending. If you have any other questions, anybody, the contact information is posted in the chat. Feel free to write it down, put it in your phone, save it, and hit them up in their emails or social media or phone calls. With that, everyone have a nice weekend. Thank you again. Goodbye.